Let me guess, this isn't the first time you've tried to change. You've read the books, followed the morning routines, watched the right videos. You've even told yourself, this is the year everything clicks. But here you are again, tired of starting over, and even more tired of pretending this version of you is fine. You know it isn't. There's a truth most men avoid for as long as they can. Your habits are shaping someone. Every day, every compromise, every shortcut, you're becoming someone. The only question is whether it's the man you respect or the one you're secretly trying to escape. That's why these next 90 days matter. Because for once, we're not talking about trying harder. We're talking about removing the option to fail. That means no backup plan. No, I'll restart next Monday. No performance, just one decision, held consistently until it hardens into identity. You don't need more motivation. You need a moment of truth. And this is it. Because if you can make it through this video, really sit with it, and actually do what comes next, your life doesn't just improve, it breaks orbit. And the man who comes out on the other side, he doesn't need reminders. He doesn't ask permission. He builds, he commands, he finishes. But I'll warn you now, this path isn't built for crowds. It's designed for someone who's had enough of pretending. So if something inside you just sat up, if your chest feels tight, and you know exactly why, drop a comment below. This time, I finish. Let's make that line echo louder than every past excuse. Because this is the last day you flirt with potential. The last video you watch hoping to feel better. From here on out, it's about one thing. Doing the hard thing for the next 90 days, until it's no longer hard, until it's just who you are. Ready? Let's begin. Burn the bridge. Become the man. Real change doesn't begin when you feel motivated. It begins the moment you remove the option to turn back. The truth is, most men don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they leave the door cracked open. They build a plan and a backup plan. They commit until life gets inconvenient. And deep down, they know it. That's why they don't trust themselves anymore. I say this with clarity, not judgment, because I lived that pattern longer than I care to admit. I was the guy who showed potential, who could speak about discipline, who looked dialed in, but I always left myself an escape route, a reason to quit without admitting I quit. And every time I used it, I paid with a piece of my self-respect. You see, discipline doesn't come from motivation. It comes from elimination. You don't stay consistent because you feel like it. You stay consistent because you've locked every door but forward. That's what this phase demands from you. Not a stronger morning routine, not louder self-talk, but one final, unshakable decision. I do not leave. I don't opt out. I don't make exceptions. I don't negotiate with weakness. Not today, not tomorrow, not on day 59 when no one's watching and everything in me wants to hit snooze. I made the decision. And now, I live inside it. Because when you cut the exits, you force your nervous system to adapt. Your mind sharpens, your instincts get cleaner, your excuses evaporate, and what's left is pure momentum. You're no longer trying to become someone, you are someone. You're not walking toward discipline, you're walking as discipline. And that shift, that quiet, permanent identity shift, is the reward no one can take from you. So decide, not halfway, not with a maybe in your back pocket. Make the call. Burn the bridge, no exit, no way out, only forward. Rewire yourself, one decision at a time. We've been taught that change happens in a moment, that a spark of inspiration can undo years of hesitation. But the Stoics knew better. Identity isn't changed by emotion, it's forged by repetition. Quiet, deliberate action repeated until it becomes part of your nature. That's why 90 days matters. It's not a trend, not a challenge, and definitely not a short-term fix. It's the space you give yourself to evolve, slowly but permanently. Marcus Aurelius said, "You become what you give your attention to." If you continue giving your attention to distractions, to temporary highs, to small compromises masked as harmless habits, then that is what you'll become, again. But if, for 90 days, you give your attention to stillness, to structure, to discipline over impulse, then you begin to rewrite your wiring. Not because of hype, but because of consistency. You see, this isn't about intensity. It's about integrity. Epictetus reminded us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. These 90 days are that doing. It's not about dreaming anymore. It's about proving. Through your routine, through your rituals, through the days when nothing feels exciting, but everything you do still matters. Resistance will come. Doubt will whisper. The old habits will try to negotiate. But as Seneca warned, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. These 90 days are your way of no longer wasting. They are your stand against delay, against indecision, against the self-betrayal that's become too familiar. The pain you feel when you want to quit, that's not a signal to stop. That's the old identity fighting for survival. And when you learn to sit with that pain, not run from it, not excuse it, but breathe through it, that's where the real alchemy begins. Day by day, decision by decision, you're not just changing habits, you're teaching your nervous system to trust you again. And once you cross that line, you won't need to act disciplined. You'll carry it in your walk, your word, your presence. The 5 pillars of discipline. Most people think identity is built through self-discovery, but identity is built through structure. You don't find who you are, you train it, and that training needs anchors. Non-negotiables. Pillars that don't change when life does. These next 90 days won't be about trying harder. They'll be about doing fewer things, but doing them with sacred consistency. These are the 5 disciplines that sharpen the edge of every great man. The mind he feeds, the body he trains, the mission he commits to, the stillness he protects, and the standards he refuses to compromise. Pillar 1. Feed your mind, forge your edge. No one tells you this, but your mind is not neutral. It's not passive. It's not just there, waiting to think whatever you want. It is constantly being programmed by what you watch, what you scroll, who you listen to, and the words you say when no one else is around. Every piece of content you consume is either sharpening your edge or dulling it. Most men don't lose their focus because they're lazy. They lose it because they've trained their brain over years to crave distraction. You scroll through noise, you absorb half-truths, you chase easy answers, and you wonder why your thinking feels foggy, why you can't execute with clarity. The truth is, your mental bandwidth has been hijacked, and the only way back is conscious reprogramming. That's why this first pillar matters. For the next 90 days, you give your mind 1 hour per day, not to be entertained, not to be distracted, but to be armed. This is sacred time where you feed your intellect with intention. You read books that challenge you. You write down thoughts that disturb you. You reflect on your actions without excuse. You don't numb yourself with positivity. You train yourself with perspective. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." So what color are yours? Are they reactionary, anxious, unfocused? Or are they measured, resilient, sharpened by silence and study? This hour isn't optional. It's not something you squeeze in when the schedule allows. It becomes the cornerstone of who you're becoming. Because the world is loud, it's fast, and if you don't anchor your mind daily, you will drift. Slowly, subtly, until one day you wake up and realize you're thinking like everyone else, and when you think like everyone else, you act like everyone else. You lose your edge, but not you. Not anymore. For the next 90 days, this 1 hour becomes untouchable. Books, journals, letters to yourself, harsh self-honesty. This is where men are made, not by what they say in public, but by what they confront in private. Build a mind you can trust under pressure. Because when the storm hits, your body might flinch, but your mind will hold the line. What are you feeding your mind with lately? If you're ready to rewire your thoughts, drop a comment. My mind is my weapon now. Pillar 2, train the body, anchor the standard. Here's the hard truth. No man can think clearly when his body is weak. You can read every book, listen to every podcast, write down the perfect plan. But if your body is brittle, your mind will bend. Discipline is not a mental game alone, it's a physical one. And most of the battles you think you're losing in your head, they were already lost the moment you stopped respecting your body. We weren't built for comfort. We were built to move, to strain, to feel our pulse against the edge of effort. But somewhere along the way, we let comfort disguise itself as progress. We told ourselves we were busy, that stress justified stagnation, that the extra weight was fine because we've got a lot going on. That's not leadership, that's decay. The body is the first battlefield of every man's war, because it's where every excuse starts. I'm too tired. I'll do it tomorrow. I've earned the break. But the body doesn't lie. It tells the truth about your standards, and for the next 90 days, you will raise them. Train every day, not for looks, not for likes. For command. 30 to 60 minutes, no excuses. You can run, lift, stretch, box, hike, climb, whatever builds sweat, breath, and presence. This isn't punishment. It's reclamation. Seneca said, "We treat the body rigorously so that it will not be disobedient to the mind." When you train, you're not just building muscle, you're teaching your nervous system who's in charge. And no, it won't always feel good. That's the point. It's not supposed to. The pain you feel in your legs, the fire in your lungs, the shake in your grip, those aren't signs of weakness. They're signs that you're breaking patterns. They're proof that you're choosing discomfort now so you won't be destroyed by it later. A man who trains daily carries something more than strength. He carries certainty. He walks into rooms differently. He doesn't flinch at pressure because his body has lived in it, and the world feels that. Your team feels that. You feel that. So for the next 90 days, treat your body like it's the foundation of everything else, because it is. Discipline doesn't start in your head. It starts when your feet hit the floor, and you show up for yourself before the world ever sees you coming. Pillar 3, build in silence, show in results. Most people think they're building something, but they're just reacting. They mistake motion for progress. They answer emails, take calls, stay busy, and convince themselves that their day meant something. But busyness isn't purpose. It's noise in disguise. The men who build legacies don't just stay active, they go deep. They carve 90 minutes out of their day and treat it like sacred ground. No distractions, no checking messages, no bouncing between tabs. Just one mission, undivided, uninterrupted, unapologetic. For the next 90 days, this is where your edge will be forged. You will give your craft, your dream, your path, 90 minutes of your best attention every single day. This is not optional. This is the difference between momentum and mediocrity. Epictetus wrote, "No great thing is created suddenly." And yet, most people quit because they never give their goals enough time to take root. They're chasing fireworks, quick, loud, and gone. But real creation? That happens in silence, in repetition, in the unglamorous space where you show up before results appear. This 90-minute block is not about speed. It's about depth. It's about building something no one else can see yet, something only you can feel coming. Whether it's writing a book, learning a skill, building a business, crafting a vision, this is your hour and a half to build brick by brick what others will one day call inevitable. But first, it will be invisible. That's what makes it hard. That's what makes it real. The world rewards those who stay consistent when no one is watching. The ones who don't post about it, who don't need applause, who work when it's not sexy, when no one cares, when it would be easier to scroll or check out. Because here's the thing. You can lie to the world about your ambition, but you can't lie to your calendar. You either gave your time to your mission or you gave it away. There is no in between. This pillar will expose every excuse, every pattern of avoidance, every way you've delayed your own greatness by staying busy instead of becoming excellent. And that's the point. If it stings a little, good. Let it burn. Let it remind you that every day you don't build is a day you drift. But not anymore. From this point forward, your mission becomes non-negotiable. 90 minutes. Daily, no matter what. Because the man who builds in silence eventually walks into rooms that noise could never reach. Most men scroll when they should be building. If you're claiming your 90-minute block, write it below. I'm showing up every damn day. Pillar 4. Command starts in stillness. Have you ever felt exhausted, mentally, not physically, after a day where you barely even moved? The meetings were short, the tasks were light, but by the end of it, your soul felt fried. You couldn't think straight. You couldn't breathe deep. And you couldn't explain why. That's not just fatigue. That's what happens when your mind is constantly stimulated, but never truly centered. We live in a world addicted to input, noise, notifications, background playlists. Even silence now feels awkward. But here's the truth. Your mind was never designed to be on all the time. It needs space, stillness, a clearing where thought can settle and clarity can rise. For the next 90 days, you will practice stillness every single day. 10 to 20 minutes of silence. No phone, no music, no scrolling, just presence. Just breathe. Just being. This is not wasted time. It's the sharpening of everything else. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. That retreat must be built, and it must be visited daily. You don't have to sit cross-legged on a mountain. You don't have to be perfect. You can walk. You can sit. You can lie on the floor. What matters is that you disconnect from noise and reconnect with awareness. You allow your mind to detox from the chaos of stimulation, because until you learn how to sit with your own thoughts, you'll never be able to lead with them. You'll react instead of respond. You'll operate from emotional residue instead of rational clarity. Stillness is not passivity, it's preparation. It's where your real strength consolidates, quietly. It's where your nervous system recovers. It's where decisions become wiser, your vision refocuses, and your standards reset. And yes, it will be uncomfortable at first. You'll want to reach for your phone. You'll want to check something, anything. That's the withdrawal of overstimulation. Let it pass. Let it burn off. Because behind that discomfort is presence. And behind presence is power. Most people only experience stillness after they've broken down, when life forces them to stop. But you will choose it. Daily. Deliberately. Not as escape, but as alignment. Because the man who commands others must first learn to command himself, and the one who cannot sit still will never move with intention. Pillar 5. Don't flinch. Don't fold. Don't explain. You've been lied to. Told that discipline is about motivation, that if you can just stay inspired, everything will fall into place. But inspiration is inconsistent. It fades. It fluctuates. It vanishes the moment life gets hard. Real discipline, the kind that builds legacies, doesn't rely on how you feel. It's built on something far less glamorous, keeping your word when no one's watching. This final pillar is the line between amateurs and professionals, between men who try and men who decide. Because here's the truth, every time you break your word to yourself, you teach your subconscious that your promises mean nothing. You become the man who says he'll change, but doesn't. Who writes it down, but doesn't follow through. Who almost gets there, but doesn't finish. And the worst part, you stop trusting yourself. Quietly. Permanently. No negotiation means you do what you said you'd do, regardless of how you feel. If you miss the workout, you make it up that night. If you skip your deep work, you stay later and finish. You stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" and start acting from one question: who am I becoming? That's how identity shifts. Not in grand moments, but in small, quiet acts of consistency that accumulate like compound interest. You either keep the contract or you tear it up every time comfort calls. Epictetus wrote, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That means no more talking about your goals, no more explaining why this time will be different. You show it. Through action, through discipline, through the days where nothing feels exciting and you show up anyway. This is where self-respect is born, not from achievement, but from alignment. When your actions match your standards, you walk taller, you speak cleaner, you think clearer. The world starts to respond to your presence differently, because it can feel something you're not even announcing: integrity. And yes, it will get inconvenient. You'll be tired, you'll be tempted. But the disciplined man doesn't negotiate with those moments. He transcends them. He understands that discomfort is the price of transformation, and he pays it daily, in full, without complaint. Because once you live like this for 90 days, you'll never go back to trying. You'll never again need someone to hold you accountable. You'll be held by your own standard, your own fire. No negotiations, no loopholes, no escape hatches, just a man who does exactly what he said he would do. Your self-respect is built one promise at a time. Comment if this hit you. No more deals with weakness. Cut the noise. Build the fortress. No man becomes unbreakable in chaos. You can't grow sharper while swimming in noise. You can't hear your intuition while feeding your brain a diet of stimulation, gossip, and distraction. And you cannot build anything legendary if your environment is built for convenience instead of clarity. Discipline doesn't thrive in clutter. It needs a fortress, a place that protects your focus, your energy, your momentum. That's what this part of the 90-day sprint is about. Not just what you do, but where and how you live while you do it. Look around. Everything in your space is either reinforcing who you're becoming or who you were. The notifications, the open tabs, the background noise, the snacks in arm's reach, the way your desk looks by 10 a.m., it all matters. You can't expect excellence from yourself while surrounding yourself with low-value inputs. This is your invitation to take full control of your environment. Clean the desk, clear the apps, silence the noise. Make your digital space reflect your internal command. Organize your tools. Simplify your setup. Let everything around you scream one thing: this man came here to build. Because the truth is, you're not just building a habit, you're building an ecosystem, and that ecosystem needs protection. The Stoics believed in cultivating the inner citadel, a mindset so fortified that nothing external could shake it. But even they knew that environment shapes behavior. You are not above your surroundings, you are shaped by them. So shape them with intention. This isn't about minimalism, it's about removing friction, making it easier to follow through, making it harder to fall off. You're building your own lab, your war room, your training ground, the place where the old version of you dies, quietly, daily. Because in a world that rewards distraction, focus is a rebellion, silence is a weapon, and intentional space is how you hold the line when the world tries to pull you back. So build your fortress, one room, one system, one ritual at a time, and protect it like your future depends on it. Because it does. Don't wait to feel. Move. Anyway, your feelings are valid, but they're not in charge. This is the shift most men never make. They live by moods. If they feel motivated, they move. If they feel tired, they retreat. Their entire life becomes a slave to emotional weather. They're consistent until it's raining inside. But high-level men don't build from emotion. They build from structure, from systems that don't care how they feel, because they were designed to function even when inspiration is gone. You don't need to feel ready to be excellent. You need a system that makes excellence automatic. Every morning you wake up, your brain starts negotiating. It looks for the path of least resistance. That's not weakness, that's survival instinct, but it's also why most men stay stuck. The key is removing the need to decide. Decide once. Then automate. Build rituals that carry you through days when your motivation won't. You should never wake up wondering what to do next. You should know. You should be pulled by structure, not pushed by guilt. What's your morning trigger? What starts the day in motion? What time do you read? When do you train? What's your deep work window? How do you shut the day down? The more answers you have, the less emotion gets to decide. This isn't robotic, it's liberating. Because systems create rhythm. Rhythm builds momentum, and momentum makes hard things feel natural. Seneca said, "Discipline is freedom." Most people misinterpret that, but what he meant was this: when you live by design, you no longer need to wrestle with yourself every day. You stop losing energy to hesitation. You move in alignment, and alignment is where greatness lives. So for the next 90 days, build your system like your life depends on it. Because the version of you you're becoming, that man doesn't rise by guessing. He rises by repeating. Your system is your edge. Build it once. Then let it carry you, especially when your feelings try to stop you. Face the wall. Refuse to fold. Every transformation has walls. They don't come at the start. They come after the excitement dies. The first one hits around day 10. The honeymoon ends, the rush fades, and reality walks in. You'll wake up tired, unimpressed, wondering if this is really worth it. That's not failure. That's friction. And friction means you're finally doing something different. Push through it. Then comes day 30, the boredom wall. You've been consistent. You've shown up. But the results haven't caught up yet. This is where most men quit. Not because it's painful, but because it's uneventful. The work starts to feel thankless, invisible. But invisible is where identity grows. What you can't see yet is building you. Hold the line. Around day 60, something shifts. The habits begin to feel like home. The resistance softens. You're not forcing it anymore, you're moving with it. And then comes the final test. Doubt, not loud, not chaotic, subtle. Whispers of, "This isn't working, you're still the same." But that voice? That's the old you trying to survive. Don't negotiate, don't fold. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show men what they are." These walls exist for a reason, not to stop you, but to reveal you. Most men run. You won't. You'll stand there. You'll keep showing up. You'll let the silence mold you and the repetition refine you. And by the time day 90 arrives, you won't need a breakthrough. You'll already be the result. By the time day 90 arrives, no one will need to ask what changed. They'll feel it. In how you speak, in how you walk, in what you no longer tolerate. You won't need to announce your growth. You'll carry it, silently, fully, undeniably. While most were waiting for permission, you were building in private. While others posted their potential, you proved yours. The man who emerges after 90 days of alignment and discipline doesn't need applause. He doesn't crave recognition. He's moved beyond validation. And that, more than anything, is why he commands respect. You didn't just form habits, you forged identity. You didn't chase motivation, you installed structure. You didn't run from pain, you faced it, sat with it, and let it sharpen you. And now, the discipline you once had to force lives in your breath. It's in your posture, in your silence, in your execution. And if something in you shifted during this journey, if you felt the fire return, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe. Not for more content, but to join a movement of men who are done with excuses, done with distraction, done performing for a world that doesn't see them. Men who are tired of being overlooked, tired of betraying themselves, men who are ready to rebuild in silence and rise with results. And if you know a man who's been drifting, send him this. Not as a challenge, as a wake-up call. We don't preach here, we build. By doing that, you're not just upgrading your life, you're helping make this kind of insight visible to other men who've been silently waiting for a path back to strength, clarity, and purpose. If you're locking in, drop a comment. I'm going dark. I'll return unrecognizable. Let that be the signal. Because this isn't about watching change, it's about leading it. Quietly, daily, without apology.